Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Trish Varner. I have a PhD in psychology and a lot of interest in DNA, ancestry, and life stories. If you're new here, welcome. If these topics interest you, please consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell. If you are returning, welcome back. Don't forget to like the video and comment if you want. That helps to get the video in the YouTube algorithm. I have a book coming out this year called Through the Dark, Keeping Your Faith Through the Darkest Moments of Your Life. The book will contain 25 personal stories of triumph and how God led these individuals through the most difficult times of their lives. If you have a compelling story and would like to be a part of this project, you can email me at LifeWithDrTrish@gmail.com. I also have started to receive requests to help build and present viewers' family trees. This process can take quite a bit of time, so I am looking to partner with genealogists and researchers who are interested in joining the Life with Dr. Trish team. If that is you, then please send your information to lifewithdrtrish@gmail.com. Today's video is covering more viewers' requests. As you should already know, former President Jimmy Carter passed away on December 29th, 2024, at the age of 100. His funeral schedule is happening this week, and I have also received several video requests over the last several months to cover him, so I thought this would be a good time to do so. I respect President Jimmy Carter and the life he's lived. We did meet him about 5 years ago. My second youngest daughter has a lot of interest in politics and presidents. She's shown that interest from a very early age, y'all, and always wanted to meet a living president. So when she was 7 years old, I took her to meet President Jimmy Carter. It was a great experience that we will never forget. So in today's video, I am going to be covering President Carter's family tree and specifically the Black Americans who are in that tree. James Earl Carter Jr. is perhaps the most well-liked president in the history of the United States. He was often referred to as a hard-working peanut farmer. He was a decorated military veteran and served actively in the Navy for 7 years and in the Reserve for an additional 8 years. He lived his life as a Christian and taught Sunday school all the way into his 90s. He was the Georgia State Senator before becoming the governor of Georgia and then the 39th President of the United States. He spent over 6 decades doing humanitarian work and even helped build houses for Habitat for Humanity in his advanced age. Carter married Eleanor Rosalynn Smith in 1946 and remained married to her until her death in 2023. They were a devoted couple. Rosalynn was born in 1927. I received a few comments inquiring whether Rosalynn has Black ancestry. I did do some digging into that. Rosalynn has a very established family tree. Her family appears to have a long history in the United States, with most of her lines going back to the 1700s and a couple of her lines even going back to the 1600s. They are documented as white. Her family appears to have come from England, Scotland, and Germany. I only saw one line that seemed to have limited info, and that line was Mary Frances Thomas, who was born in Plains, Georgia in December 1821. Her father is listed as John Thomas from Maryland, and I did not see more info for him. Her mother was only listed as Mary. There was no last name shown for her. I thought perhaps this was worth exploring, since we know that enslaved people are often not listed or only listed with a first name. However, after some digging, it appears Mary's last name may have been Wilson. She was born in Maryland. There was no additional info found during the time I searched. There is a picture of the daughter, Mary Frances, though, and she does not look very ethnic to me. I could not find anything else that could indicate that First Lady Rosalynn Carter had African American ancestry. President Carter's family line in the U.S. starts with John Carter, who was born in 1613 in England. John migrated to the colony of Virginia in 1635, which was only 28 years after the founding of Jamestown. John had several children. His son, Robert Carter I, was born in 1663 and became the richest man in the colonies and also was the governor of Virginia. Robert owned a plantation and had 3,000 enslaved people working on it. Have you wondered why there are so many black people with the last name Carter? Well, enslaved people often took the plantation owners' last names after emancipation. Carter is the 22nd most common surname among black Americans today. Robert Carter I had a daughter named Ann Carter, born in 1704, and 2 U.S. presidents came through her line. William Harrison, who was the 9th U.S. president, and Benjamin Harrison, who was the 23rd U.S. president. Kendrick Carter lived from 1750 through 1799, and he was the first to move to Georgia. The Carter family did own cotton fields and were also slave owners. Carter's grandmother moved to Plains, Georgia, after her husband passed away. President Carter was born in Plains and died there. President Carter learned many of his compassionate, philanthropic ways from his mother, Lillian Gordy. As a reminder, I always use women's maiden names in ancestry videos because it's easier to trace their ancestry with their maiden names. Carter's mother, Lillian, was kind and took time to interact with people. She worked as a nurse and even served in the Peace Corps. She also made friends in the black community and supported their causes. You might have noticed that Lillian's maiden name is the same as another famous Gordy, Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown Records. Were Lillian and Berry Gordy related, though? Lillian Gordy was also a descendant of slave owners. Her parents' names were Mary Nicholson and James J. Gordy. Lillian's paternal grandfather's name was James T. Gordy. He was married to Harriet Helms, who was Lillian's paternal grandmother. However, James T. Gordy also impregnated a 14-year-old enslaved girl named Esther Johnson. Berry Gordy I was the result. He was also born enslaved in 1854. He was eventually freed and married Lucy Helm, and they had a son named Berry Gordy II in 1888. Berry II married Bertha Fuller and moved to Detroit in 1922, and Berry III was born there in 1929. This would make President Jimmy Carter and Motown founder Berry Gordy second cousins. So yes, they were indeed genetically related. President Carter's relation to the black community doesn't stop there, though. Berry II and Bertha Fuller had a total of 8 children, 4 sons and 4 daughters. Berry III was their second youngest son. He married his first wife, Thelma Coleman, and had 3 children, Berry Gordy IV, Terry Gordy, and Hazel Gordy, who married Jermaine Jackson, Michael Jackson's brother. Hazel and Jermaine had 3 kids together, Jermaine Jackson Jr., Autumn Joy Jackson, and Jamie Jermaine Jackson. They would be President Carter's second cousins, twice removed. Hence, their children were born into the Jackson family, related to a president, and also related to the founder of Motown Records. Berry's second wife was Ray Singleton, and they had 1 son named Carrie Gordy. Berry also had 4 other children with other women, including Rhonda Ross, whose mother is Diana Ross. President Carter and Diana Ross's oldest daughter were thus second cousins once removed. President Carter's relation to the black community doesn't stop there, though. Berry Gordy's sister, Anna Gordy, married R&B legend Marvin Gaye. However, while Marvin was married to Anna, he had a child with Anna's niece, Denise Gordy, who was 16 years old at the time. Marvin was 26. Anna Gordy, who was 43 at the time, could not have children, so she faked her pregnancy, and the couple pretended that she actually gave birth to the baby, Marvin Gaye III. Marvin III did not find out who his real mother was until several years after his father died. Of course, this means that President Carter was also related to Marvin Gaye's son, Marvin III. They are second cousins twice removed. We are still not done with the relations, though. There is one more. Denise Gordy, Berry Gordy's niece, married actor Richard Lawson, and they had a daughter together named Bianca Lawson, who is also an actress. In 2015, Richard Lawson married Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mom. Beyonce and Solange are not related to the Gordy family or Carter family, but it's still an interesting indirect connection. So, President Carter has several black cousins from his mother's side, the Gordys. This just goes to show that you don't have to look much alike to have a family relation to someone who is from a different ethnicity. President Carter and Berry Gordy being second cousins is a pretty close relation. What are your thoughts on this? Have you been able to track down cousins from a different ethnicity than your own? How did it work out? Did they welcome you? Are you related to any celebrities or well-known people that you know of? Leave a comment and let us know. Don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe if you'd like. I will see you in the next video.